Hi everyone, this is Liz from Creative Life of Liz, and I am here to flip through the second quarter of 2024. This is in my book, Bujo, bullet journal, reading journal, whatever it's called, in this Artist Loft grid notebook. But this is going to be for the months of April, May, and June. So jumping ahead, we're going to start right here in April. I think this is actually the only month in which I did not use any washi tape in my book Bujo setup. So that is interesting, I think. But I did this little bees theme and did kind of dashed lines for all the writing. I think it turned out really cute. It was super annoying to make though. But I do like my little bees that are really just like circles with squiggles. Are they super great? No, but you do know what they are. So successful for somebody like me who's not a very good drawer. I did finish my 4 Romanceopoly prompts, and I did do some of my priority reads as well. So I think overall pretty successful. And then moving on to here, this is for Magical Readathon and fulfilling the 17 prompts there. I made some progress on the lore side quest and then got distracted and never finished it. This is my prediction bingo for A Fate Inked in Blood. If anybody has never read that book, please don't read it too much. Moving on to the list of books that I was reading for the month. I did kind of a mixture of a few different kinds of things, but definitely pretty heavily on romance here in this first stuff. Read Twisted Games by Anna Huang. I enjoyed Me by Elton John. That was a really good memoir. I really enjoyed that one. Let's see. Knowing You by E.M. Lindsay. Getting back to E.M. Lindsay books, always a good thing. I really enjoy their books. I also really enjoyed The Swans of Harlem by Karen Balby. It was super interesting and enjoyable, and it was really fun to read. And I wish that the Harlem Theater Company, Harlem Ballet dancers got some more attention. I also enjoyed Cemetery Boys by Aiden Thomas. And then finishing off the month, I had a few more reads over here, including one in the Singing Hills cycle, which I enjoy all of that series. And then I had an extra page, so I did a bee and book kind of quote, and I think this one turned out actually pretty cute. Looking at my summary stuff for the month, The Swans of Harlem was my favorite book. It was so good. It was so well written, and the Dance Theater of Harlem, definitely learned a lot about them. I also really enjoyed Me by Elton John. Again, I thought that this was a super good memoir. It was funny, it was emotional, it was a really good read, and we really got a taste of pop music during Elton John's career. My biggest disappointment was A Marvelous Light by Freya Marsk. This book was fine, but it had so many of the buzzwords that should have meant that I loved it, but I ended up just feeling like it was okay. My top recommendations of the month are The Swans of Harlem, Me, Cemetery Boys, Knowing You, and The Brides of High Hill. So those were the top things I read. Looking at my stats, I read 32 books for 10,000 pages. A lot of them were new authors, which was great. My own voices split was less great. Still about a third own voices, so not terrible, but definitely not as much as I would like ideally. I read about 3/4 romance and mostly ebooks. This is a consequence of having Kindle Unlimited. I had a couple of months without it, and then it was back. So I read a lot of things that are on Kindle Unlimited, which tend to be, for me, indie pub or self-pub romances. I read kind of a mixture in the romance genre though, so that's pretty good. May, I had a stationery theme, and I do think that this turned out pretty cute overall, and I like the purple. It's fun for spring. I did manage to read the 4 Romanceopoly prompts I had for the month, and then I had a few priority reads that I was working on here as well. Not all of them were arcs, just things that I wanted to get to. Escape the Readathon was hosted in May for the whole month from Books with Lexi. So I did a lot of reading. So this is kind of the whole path that our team was taking as we went through the whole thing. And then the next one I participated in was the Whodunit Readathon. So you can see my little card as I was trying to sort everything out over here. And then I also did the Asian Readathon. So these are the books that I was tracking by different Asian authors. Part of the rule was that each book should have an author from a different Asian country. So I actually read more books by Asian authors in the month, but these were ones that were all from different countries. And then I kind of stopped tracking at some point. But I fulfilled all the prompts, so that was successful. And then the last readathon here at the beginning of the month was Final Book Support Group, hosted by Steph Loves. I did manage to finish this bingo board as well. Now we get into the actual books that I was reading. This page, they were kind of mediocre, to be honest. The Succubus's Prize by Katie Robert was pretty good. Read some more okay books. I also read Out on a Limb by Hannah Bonham Young, which was quite good. And over here, Milk and Honey by Rupi Kaur was very impactful for sure. I really liked Be My Baby by Ronnie Spector, another memoir. I feel like memoirs were really my thing this year more than any previous year. And then here, Please Make Me Pretty, I Don't Want to Die by Tawan Mulalu. That was a poetry collection that was also very impactful. And then Displacement by Kiku Hughes was about the German or the Japanese American concentration camps, essentially. But the camps that they were put in and the consequence of that, time travel graphic novel kind of thing. And Renegades by E.M. Lindsay. Pretty much every E.M. Lindsay book I tend to give either 4 or 5 stars. I just really like their writing. Over here, let's see. Genderqueer Memoir by Maya Kababe was really good. Another E.M. Lindsay with Forsaken, I also really enjoyed. Family Style Memories of an American from Vietnam by Tien Pham was kind of foodie-esque, which was quite enjoyable. And then They Call This Enemy by George Takei, Justin Eisinger, Stephen Scott, and Harmony Becker was another one focused on the Japanese internment camps that were happening during World War II. Even more reading, another E.M. Lindsay, Resisting You. Let's see, You Are Home by Katana Chetwynd. I really enjoyed those Katana comics. And then even more here, Off the Map by Trish Dollar. All of them super impactful. Some more graphic novels, comics, things like that. In my book summary, my favorite book was Resisting You by E.M. Lindsay. It was super emotional. Loved it. And then Off the Map by Trish Dollar, I was also really enjoying. I don't know why I didn't think it was going to be as emotional as it was, but definitely super emotional. My biggest disappointment was God Killer by Hannah Canner. I just couldn't finish it. I did not enjoy it. But my favorite top recommendations of the month, Anything by E.M. Lindsay, Off the Map by Trish Dollar, They Call This Enemy by George Takei et al., Lore Olympus by Rachel Smythe, and Ocean's Godori by Elaine Yu Cho, which is a sci-fi Korean-inspired story. And then on my book stats, I read 72 books, 19,000 pages. Yeah, pretty big reading month. Readathons, competitive readathons tend to get to me, as we will see through the summer. My relationship to author and own voices were both like meh, they were fine. Genre, almost 50% romance, but a mix of everything. And then looking over here, a mixture of years and things like that. And then the last part that we get into for this quarter were a couple of extended challenges. So Covers with Cassidy did an Every Romantasy challenge for the summer. And so I covered this in June, July, and August. You can see from the books here to finish the challenge. I used the different colors for when I was doing it. And then Summer Romantasy-a-thon, hosted by Tori Between Pages in June and July. I covered those books in June and then July here, filling in the books. I did double count quite a bit to get there, but put the chart sideways to make it easier to read. And then going into June, I had like a little surfboard, beachy vibes. I kind of said it was like an LA boardwalk when I was talking about this washi tape in another planner. Definitely kind of got those vibes. I did finish 4 Romanceopoly prompts and a couple of priority reads as well. For the Amazing Readathon, I was just tracking as I went through everything. So these are the bonus prompts. I just checked them off to keep track of them. And then as we went through cities, I marked in things, whether it was the prompt, sightseeing, whatever I was doing for the month. And then this is starting the month with things I was reading. Here We Go Again by Alison Cochrane was really good. Like a road trip kind of story. I really enjoyed that one. Let's see. Did a lot of reading. Some of it was not super memorable necessarily. Here is where I continue with the Amazing Readathon with Cities 5, 6, and Start of 7 over here. So doing some even more reading, more 3s, some 4 stars going on here. Even more reading. The Princess Saves Herself in this one by Amanda Lovelace was a collection of poetry that I quite enjoyed. In the Dream House by Carmen Maria Machado, also very impactful. It was memoir, but kind of told almost as if it was fictional, but definitely a memoir, super good. Not linear, so if you don't like nonlinear storytelling, it will be confusing. And then this is the final parts of the rest of 7 and then Cities 8, 9, and 10. Here's my final stats for the Amazing Readathon. Our team finished in 2nd place. And then here's even more reads as I was going through finishing up the month. Here is my book summary. My favorite book was Here We Go Again by Alison Cochrane. I already talked about that a little bit. I also really liked Love Unwritten by Lauren Asher. I feel like her books are getting more emotional and better every time I read a new one. I was disappointed by Broken Bonds by Jay Bree. It seemed like something I would enjoy, but it turns out that it was more like a new adult bully romance, which was not how it was pitched, not what I expected it to be, and I did not enjoy it. My top recommendations of the month, Here We Go Again, Love Unwritten, A Lady's Guide to Celestial Mechanics by Olivia Waite, In the Dream House by Carmen Maria Machado, and The Princess Saves Herself in this one by Amanda Lovelace. Looking at my stats, I read 77 books, 19,000 pages, kind of a spread here in terms of rating, but a lot in the middle. A mixture of relationship of author, that was pretty good. Own Voices was great this month. Amazing Readathon gave you bonus points for certain types of own voices. So unsurprisingly, that was something I prioritized. Also just made me happy. So it was great to read. Romance was definitely my main focus, but did a mixture of some other things. About half contemporary romance. A mixture of formats here, predominantly ebook, but I did get a couple of other things. And then a mixture of years published as well. And that is everything for today. So as always, please like and subscribe below if you haven't already. I really appreciate it. It helps me out. Let me know your favorite book of the 2nd quarter, or if you have any recommendations for me, I would love to hear about those as well. And then follow me on Instagram at Creative Life of Liz. You'll see in progress and finished spreads from most of my planners, as well as bits and pieces of my life, what I'm reading, all that good stuff. And until next time, bye.